everybody, welcome to Bones Collector, where today we are continuing our series of the ultimate top 100 board games ever. I'm having a great time doing this. Today we're going to do 60 through 51, which means I've given you 40 amazing games already. The 40 games that I gave you were higher complexity board games, games that I would not suggest to new gamers to play right off the bat. So they're not impossible to learn, it's just that they're a little more complex. So I put them down at the bottom of the list a little bit. Now these next 60 games that I'm going to give you, and 60 through 51 falls in that category, are games with a little bit easier rule set, but that doesn't make them less challenging. And that's what board gaming is all about, is having a challenge and having some tension in the game. So let's get right to it, and that's what I've got for you today, is 10 amazing games that we love. And the first one is going to be a game called Camel Up by Stefan Bogen. It came out in 2014, 2 to 8 players, and this game won the Spiel des Jahres, and for good reason. Most of the games on my top 100 are strategy games that don't have much luck. I guess, you know, they're not luck based. Camel Up is a very, very luck centric game, and that doesn't hurt it though. That makes it that much more fun. It's a racing game, and just like it suggests, you're racing camels. And there's so many times I talk to people about Camel Up, and everybody seems to love this game, but it sure doesn't get any hype or press, and it certainly isn't in anybody's top 100. It's in mine because I love to play it. I love to introduce new board gamers to Camel Up, and the mechanism in it of stacking camels and having that affect the race is worth noting. It is a special mechanism. It's brilliant by Stefan Bogen. It just makes this game so good because of that, because you never know how this race is going to come out. And you're betting, and you have to bet to win this game, but you don't know when to bet. That's the tension. When do I bet? And you have the pyramid with the dice in it, and you click out a die, and whatever color that is, that's the color of the camel that's going to move that many spaces. Now, when do you bet? You're going to bet on a winner, and you're going to bet on a loser. And you have to get your bets in before the other people. But when do you do that? Because when you go through at the end of the race and go through those betting stacks, if the blue camel won, the first player tile that bet on the blue camel is the one that's going to get the lion's share of the points. So that's what's beautiful about this game. That's what makes it so much fun. I played this game with my sister, and she bought it for her family. It is just so much fun, Camel Up. I can't tell you how much we enjoy playing this game, Lori and I. I can't say enough about it. Yes, it's a lucky game. It is a racing game. There's endgame bonuses, dice, and betting, and I just have a great time. And it plays well at 2 players, but I promised I would tell you when something else was at issue, and I think it needs 3 or more to be optimum and to be more fun, because the more people that are involved and cheering on the camels, come on orange camel, come on you stupid camel, move, and you just get into it as you're popping out those dice out of the pyramid, and you want your camel to move on because you've already placed your bet. Now you want it to win and cross the finish line first. So it's just a good time, and the more people you have involved. It plays 2 to 8, it says on the box. I've never played it with 8. I think we've played it with 6. And it's just a really, really good time. I really enjoy it, Camel Up. Can't say enough about it, obviously. All right, that was number 60. Number 59 is a little box game called Targi. It's a 2-player only game, but it doesn't keep it from being magnificent. I love Targi. This is a game designed by Andreas Steiger. It came out in 2012. 2-player only, like I said. There's card drafting. It has a modular board of cards. It's a worker placement game. You use your Targis to place around the modular board, and you're trying to put some set collection together in this. And, you know, I'll show you. Lori will probably put something up on the screen, but this is what the back of the box looks like, and that's the board. You lay the cards out there, and you have your Targis, and you're going to lay them on the outside borders of that modular board, and wherever they intersect, you're going to draft that card. And so you have to decide, what cards do I want, what cards do I need, and what resources do I need to get some cards and get my set collection going for bonuses at the end of the game. So the game is very tense. It's very, very good. It says on the back more than 50,000 games sold, even though this game came out in 2012. This is a 2018 reprint, and 50,000 games sold. That tells you something. I remember one time I was talking about pandemic, and someone left a comment that Pandemic wasn't that good of a game, and I forget how many millions of copies that game has sold. So I think that kind of number sometimes speaks volumes for the quality of a game. This game is amazing. Again, 2-player only. You can lay this game out and play it in less than 40-45 minutes, and you're thinking very hard while you're doing so and having a great time. That's Targi by Andreas Steiger. That was number 59. Number 58 is my only Fantasy Flight game in my library, and that is Kingsburg. Kingsburg was designed by Andrea Chiravesio and Luca Iannacco. I hope I didn't destroy their names too badly. It plays 2 to 5. It's a fantasy medieval theme. Came out in 2007, and it's worker placement with dice. I think you play like 5 years in this game, and you have a marker that keeps track of each year. And then in each year, there's 8 phases that go across the bottom of the board, and you're going to do each phase one at a time. And at the end of the 7th phase, you go to the 8th phase, and in the 8th phase, you battle some monsters, and you better be ready for that, because if you don't have enough battle points, you could lose some things, and that can hurt in this game because scores are generally pretty close. But it's got a wonderful, beautiful artwork on the board. I love playing Kingsburg. I really, really enjoy playing this game. The rule set is not that large. It's pretty easy. You have a player board where you're building your city, and then the main board where you're placing your dice to get benefits from different characters that are on the board. So it's just a lot of fun. We enjoy it so much. Kingsburg, it's an older game, 2007. That doesn't keep it from being amazing, and it deserves a place in anyone's library. Kingsburg. Okay, game number 57, a little tiny box game by Steve Finn called Biblios. This game came out in 2007. It plays 2 to 4. It has an auction bidding mechanisms in it, commodity speculation when you're manipulating the dice, and set collection. Man, I love this game. And Lori and I played this 4 or 5 times a couple weeks ago, and I turned to her and said, man, that is just a tremendous experience, because there's so much strategy in this little box. Now let me show you a few things about this. It's got this little magnetic enclosure. I love that. And it's a little box, which makes it even better. And there's my instructions. But this is all there is. There's a board, and you have 5 dice, D6s, that are going to sit on this board according to their color. And you're going to manipulate those depending on what set collections you're putting together in your hand. So there's hand management going on. And this game is simple. When it's your turn, you have this deck of cards, and you're going to take one card and look at it and decide what to do with it. And you have 3 choices. You can give it to yourself, you can give it to your opponent, or you can give it to the church. And you're going to do that 3 times on your turn. You don't choose all 3 cards and look at them and decide. You choose one, decide where to place it. You choose the second one, look at it, decide where to place it, and take the third one, and wherever you didn't place another card, they get that card automatically. So it's a push your luck element. You come across a number 3 gold, which is the highest value gold in the deck, and you tell yourself, oh, I want that. That's 3 gold. So when it comes to the bidding at the end of the round, when I'm bidding on church cards, I need money, so I'll take that 3 gold. And so you take the first card, which is 3 gold, and the second card you draw is maybe the number 1 value red. So you give that to the church. Or maybe it's a church card where you can manipulate the dice, and you give that to the church deck. And then you're going to draw the third card. It doesn't matter what it is. You can look at it, but it doesn't matter what it is. It's going to go to your opponent. And it's a number 4 value blue. And all of a sudden you realize, uh-oh, I'm collecting blue cards. I just gave a number 4 value blue to my opponent. Now I got to either change my strategy or pray they don't end up with more blue points than I have in my set collection. So that's the strategy in this game. It's incredible. Then at the end of the round, that church deck is auctioned off to the players. So whatever you put in that church deck goes to the players, and you have to pay for it with gold cards. So that is, this game is amazing. And then you have church cards that you can turn the value of these 5 dice, because if I'm collecting blue, I want the blue die to be as high as possible. They all start out on 3, and then you get those church cards, and it has a plus or minus on it, and you can raise this from a 3 to a 4, and maybe up to a 5, maybe to a 6. But you also want to bluff, because you don't want your opponent knowing what sets your collection. But sometimes they're going to figure it out anyway, because you're pushing the dice up. And there's only 5 dice. So whatever those value are at the end of the game of those 5 dice, whoever has the most cards of that color in their set collections are going to win those values, and the scores end up being like 9-6 or things like that, because again there's only 5 dice and they're D6s, so the scores are very low, but they're always very close and it's always a lot of fun. This game is perfect. It's a little box game, and I don't know, it's one, I know that Lori and I, whenever one of us has been sick or something, we have a TV tray that you can carry, and one of us will be sick in bed with the flu or something, say, bring in Biblios, and we'll play Biblios right there on the TV tray in bed. It's that kind of game, and it's intriguing, and it's tense, and I can't say enough about it. Steve Finn did a marvelous job on this game, Biblios. Okay, number 56 is a game by Martin Wallace called Via Nebula, and it's published by Space Cowboys. Came out in 2016, and this is in the category of a family strategy game. It uses an action point system where you spend action points to take actions, and it's a pick up and deliver route building race game, because you're trying to get your buildings out onto the board first. And I think you build 5 of them, I'm not certain. But you're building a route with tiles, so there's tiles you're taking and laying out routes, and you have to populate the board. You're responsible for populating the board for resources and taking the tile of that particular item off the board, and it has a point value on it. So as you get those, you're getting points for the end of the game. But you want to get those resources used up on the board because it counts against you. And when you're building your buildings, you have to follow that route to get your resources to your building site, and it has to be the exact building resources that you need. If you drag more resources than you need, they go on your player board and they count against you at the end of the game, and that's where the tension comes in playing this game. Yeah, the theme is kind of not my favorite, a fantasy style theme, but it is very, very fun, and it's a very good game. The first time I played it, I wasn't sure about it, and this was years ago. And then, I think we said we're going to move that game on. I think Lori and I said we're going to move on Via Nebula, and then we said, you know what, let's play it since we're going to sell it. Let's play it one more time. So we played it, and we got done. I was like, I had a really good time playing that game. Don't sell it yet. And so I think we played it again and again, and we decided, you know what, we're keeping that game. We like Via Nebula, and for our money, we like it better than anything Martin Wallace has done, because it's the right complexity for us, and we enjoy that. We enjoy that it has tension in the game, and it's a fantastic production. I mean, I shouldn't waste your time showing you stuff like this because it takes too much time. And I've opened this game up before, but it's got a beautiful insert in it with all the pieces, and it has the shape of the piece, and that's where it goes, like wood, stone, pigs, wheat, and then you have a stack of buildings and your workers that are going to go onto the board, a deck of contract cards that you're going to try to complete, because that's how you score points. Person with the most points at the end of the game wins the game, and it's just a fabulous time. Via Nebula. I just love it, by Martin Wallace. It just doesn't get any kind of publicity, any kind of buzz, Via Nebula. I don't know why. I really don't. We've played it, and we like it every time. Via Nebula. Okay. Number 55, we're on 55, is a game published by Days of Wonder called Yamatai. It came out in 2017. It was designed by Bruno Cathala and Mark Paquin. The art is by Jeremy Fleury, and I promised you guys I would mention the art when it is above the standard, and this game is way above the standard. If I ever did a video of top 10 board game boxes, this would be in the top 10. It's beautiful. Everything in this game is beautiful. There's specialist tiles that you can acquire in this game. They're gorgeous. They're big and they're gorgeous. I just love this game. It plays 2 to 4 players. It uses action drafting, contract fulfillment, route building, and the buildings, you have regular buildings and Tory buildings and palaces that you can put out to score different points. It's just a wonderful game to play. Bruno Cathala he's one of my favorite board game designers for sure, because this is a medium complexity game, and I just love that he is so good at doing medium complexity games that are fun, and this is just a wonderful example of that. You have action tiles that you're going to select, but they have a point value on them, and depending on which ones you take, the more powerful the tile you take, that's going to put you towards the end of the turn order track for the next round. So you have to think about that. Do I want to take that tile and put myself back in the turn order on the next round. In a two-player game, you can go twice in a row. And I think Rado really didn't like that. I think it's one of the things he didn't like about Yamatai, but I like it. I'm the opposite. I like it because it's something else to think about. And you got to ask yourself, do I want to do that? Because I can see how things are developing. Do I want to let my opponent take 2 turns in a row the next round just so I can have what I want right now? And that's a tough decision. And I've done it. And I've said, yeah, I'm going to let him go 2 times in a row. I'm going to let Lori go 2 times in a row because I got to have that because I need to do this in the game and that in the game, and I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice that. And that's part of the fun of this game. I just love it. It's by Days of Wonder. The production is off the charts. It's a beautiful game. Again, came out in 2017. Oh, man, that's lovely, isn't it? I love looking at that game. Yeah, fun game, Yamatai. All right. We're doing pretty good. Those are great games. Number 54 is going to sound kind of repetitive, but it's going to be 5 Tribes by Bruno Cathala. This came out in 2014, so 3 years before Yamatai. Plays 2 to 4 players. It's an Arabian fantasy kind of theme, and it has a modular board that you set up, auction and bidding mechanism for turn order, kind of in the same category as Yamatai, but just a little bit different. And that's one of the fun things about this game. And it uses kind of a Mancala mechanism in it. If you haven't played 5 Tribes, again, this game, 8 years old now, so most gamers have played 5 Tribes. And it's just wonderful. And I'll turn it around and show you the back, because it gives you kind of a view of the modular board. And it's populated with these meeples, and you have to pick all the meeples up off of one tile, and start dropping them off one at a time on tiles, and wherever you end up, that's the action you're going to take. The last meeple in your hand has to match one of the meeples that's on the tile where you're stopping, and that's the action you're going to take. Each color of meeple has a different function, and they have different names like assassins and things like that. So it's really, really a cool game, and you put palaces and trees on tiles that you have taken on the game board, that you have finished, so you get the points on that tile, and you can place trees and palaces on there to get bonus points. So I just really, really love this game. You know, I love this game and Yamatai. To pick between the two would be very, very difficult. I love them both. So I'm not, but they're right there together in my top 100. Okay, number 53 is a game by Tasty Minstrel Games, the publisher. Seth Jaffe is the designer, and it's called Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done. Plays 2 to 4, came out in 2018, and it has variable player powers in this game. Has a Mancala mechanism also on a rondel type of situation. And this is a very, very good game for a person that wants to know how to use a Mancala. Crusaders, you're campaigning across Europe, moving your knights across the map, and you are removing buildings and knights from your player board, which open up special powers to make things accelerate and get better and better as you go. Person with the most victory points at the end of the game wins the game, and it's a fun, fun game. I really enjoy it. And Tasty Minstrel Games did a deluxeified version of this game, and I don't know what could possibly be better than what's in this standard edition. It's magnificent production. I really, really enjoy it. I like games that are produced well, and this one is. Everything in it is very nice, all the components. It's a beautiful map of Europe that you're going to campaign across, and your player board is gorgeous. All the pieces are thick and nice. I really, really enjoy it. Yeah, that's 2 to 4 players. We play this game in 45 minutes, and it's called Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done, 2018. Okay, my next game, number 52, is a game called Kamisado. Kamisado came out in 2008. It was designed by Peter Burley. It's a 2-player only game, a grid movement, and it's pure skill. No dice, no cards. Very similar to chess in that regard. 2 players only. You can play it in 20 minutes, it says on the box. Lori beat me the first time in this game in a minute and a half. Serious, minute and a half. And I'm going to do something right now that I've never done before on this channel. I'm going to open this box, set this game up, and teach you how to play it in less than 5 minutes. Are you ready? Put me on the clock. Go. Has a beautiful board. Very colorful board. One side has icons on it, the other side does not, and I'll explain that in a second. Dang it. I had the board turn. Wait. I had the board turn the wrong way. I'm still doing good. I'm still doing good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, there it is. Gosh. Okay, red. Okay. I lost a piece there for a second. I'm still doing good. I'm still doing good. Boom. The game is set up. The object of this game is to get one of your pieces into the back row of your opponent. Boom. You win the game. You get one of your pieces to the back row of your opponent. You've won the game. How do you play the game? The first player is going to take up any piece on the board and move that piece. This is a yellow, and on the top it has colors. It's sitting on a yellow space. I can move this piece forward straight, or I can move it forward diagonally. You cannot move backwards or sideways. So if I choose to move this yellow piece, I'm going to move it up here maybe to purple. Now because I stopped on purple, my opponent has to take their purple piece and move it. That's what they have to move. They have to move it forward straight or forward diagonally, and that's how this game is played. If they cannot move that piece, if I had them trapped and they couldn't move that piece, I get another turn. And that's a very smart thing to do if you're playing this game. But that's it. You have to move your piece according to what your opponent left you. If your opponent moves his green piece up here to the red square, I have to move my red piece. And I can move it forward diagonally, forward straight ahead, and that's it. Once a player has, and your pieces get to be looking like this, the game board starts looking like this, and all of a sudden, that player moves a piece into your back row. Game's over. This game, I've seen it take 20 minutes, and that's really a long time. But I've also seen it take seconds. You can get beat really quick in this game because they'll backdoor you, and you didn't see it coming. You'll go, oh my God, I didn't even see that. But here's the thing. I set this game up at my, hey, did I make the 5 minutes? I set this game up at our family gathering at Thanksgiving and just left it sit on a picnic table at the cabin, and someone was playing this game the entire time. You know, people are up gabbing, and I mean, we had 21 people there, and kids, and you know, people are doing things. It's at a campground, and things are going on. But there was always someone at the picnic table playing Kamisado. Isn't that something? And the rules are so easy, and that just makes this game so beautiful because you can teach it in 5 minutes. Set it up and teach it. Now, if you're colorblind, the colors on the top, they're in different icons. So if you learn to read those icons, you'll be able to tell which piece it is. And then on the other side of the board, remember when I started showing you this game, it has iconography also, so the colorblind people can play this game. And I have a great time playing this game. It's an abstract strategy game. It's the only one in my top 100. I enjoy it. It's easy to teach. You can play it and play it and play it. I played it with my brother-in-law. He beat me 5 times in a row. Finally, on the 6th time, I beat him. I just taught him the game. It's the first time he ever played it, and he beat me 5 times in a row. And I like games like that, that you can teach quickly, and someone that's never played it before can do very well, can win the game. Those games are priceless. This game is outstanding. It's in my top 100, obviously, or you know, if it wasn't outstanding, it wouldn't be there. And I enjoy this game. Luke over Broken Meeple turned me onto this game. I watched one of his videos, and he showed how to play this game, and intrigued me. And I went out and picked up a copy. And these pieces are nice and heavy, real nice. So I really like that. And nice board, and it doesn't have a lot to it. And that is Kamisado. That's my number 52 game in my top 100. And I think you'll enjoy it if you play it. It's a lot of fun. Okay, number 51 is a game called Ishtar from Bruno Cathala and Evan Singh. Came out in 2019, 2 to 4 players. It's an ancient Babylonian theme, tile placement, and area majority and influence. I think 3 games now in this 10 have been designed or co-designed by Bruno Cathala, and I've said this before in my videos, you guys. If you play a game that you really enjoy, look at the name of the designer and kind of look into his games or her games, and you may find that you like their games. Not always, but a lot of times, if you like one game by a certain designer, you're going to like their other ones, and it's worth checking them out, at least anyways. But yeah, Bruno Cathala and Evan Singh, and I really, really love playing Ishtar. And one of the things I love about this game, I'll show you right now, is it comes completely punched. I don't know if I've ever had a game like that. I'd have to think long and hard about it. But this game comes completely punched out, and it has a place for everything in the box, and a nice insert for the game. It's a modular board that you're going to set up, and it has these temple buildings. Each temple has a different point value. They're going to be on the modular board, and the board is going to be populated with beautiful gems. Oh yeah, beautiful colored gems on the board. When this game's on the table, it looks amazing, and you're going to complete contract cards with the gems. And that's how you get the points in this game. Person with the most points wins the game. And you have a market board with a watering can on it. You have tiles on here in the watering can. You're going to move around and select tiles off this board. There's only a certain number of spaces you can move without paying more, paying a gem or something to move more. And you get these contract cards by paying the gems that you're getting off the board, because you're taking tiles, laying them on the board in such a fashion that you're taking the gems off the board, and then you have to decide how to spend those gems. Do I want to complete a contract? Do I want to complete a contract and get those points, or do I want to spend my gems and open up a player power on my player board? And these are very important too. And you have 5 columns of player benefits or player powers, and you have to do the bottom one first before you can open up the top one. And that's kind of a hard decision to make, because there's point values for different things that you're going to do in the game. So it's a tough decision, and I really, really love this game. Well, I got the lid off, and I'll show you. These tiles are gorgeous. They're going to go on the board. You're going to select off this market board. Yeah, this game comes completely punched. I really love it. Everything in its place. I appreciate it when board game manufacturers do that kind of thing. It's awesome. I keep talking about this game, and I don't know why this game, again, doesn't get more buzz, because it's incredible. It's so much fun to play. And again, this is at 2. Lori and I play this game at 2 players, so I've never played it at a higher player count than that, so I really can't make a testimony as to how it plays at other player counts. But at 2, it's magnificent, you guys. And obviously, it's in my top 100 at number 51, and that's the last game of the day for me. And I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I just want you to please like and subscribe. We're over 1,000 subscribers now. That's pretty cool for an old guy, and I'm really enjoying bringing these games to you. I've tried to watch as much as I can about games that have come out in 2021, and I do that every year. I just haven't seen much that's very impressive this year. 2020 was a pretty good year, but this year I don't know. I've given you some games here that you can have confidence to buy, that you can play them over and over and over again. And that's what a good board game delivers to you, replayability. And you don't have to have a lot of board games. Again, I keep 150 board games. I think I have a 150 board game library here. I used to have 200. I got rid of 50 of them. We're down to 150 board games here in our house. And you don't have to have that many. You know, I could see a person having like 6 to 10 board games. So you're going to play a board game maybe once every so often. Maybe you're busy in your life, so you have a few games in your closet, and you want to be able to take that game out of the closet, set it up, and play it without revisiting the rule book for 30 minutes to an hour. And a lot of board games nowadays get overly complex. They do it in such a way that sometimes it dilutes the game. The game either falls apart at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end. And I can name a lot of board games that I've played that are well up the list on Board Game Geek that fall apart at some point in the game, and that just makes for a bad board game. And I've gotten rid of those. The ones that I do keep, and I can testify to you guys, the ones that I've shown you today, these 10 games, they play great from the beginning to the end. They're great at the beginning, they're great in the middle, and they're great at the end. They don't fall apart. They're good games. These 10 games that I've talked about today, again, you can pull this game out of the closet after you haven't played it for 4 or 5 months, set it up, and play it. because it's not that difficult. The rule set is small, but the tension is there, and the complexity that makes you think and have a good time is there in this box. And all 10 of these games I've talked about today are like that. So it was a pleasure to do that. It's a pleasure to tell you about games that you can go out and confidently buy and have a good time with, that you're not going to get sick of after 2 or 3 plays and say, I'm never going to play that again. Yeah, all 10 of these games that I've talked about today fall into a category where you're going to replay them over and over and over again. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I love every one of you. And remember to keep on board gaming. It is the best hobby on the planet. It's good for the mind and good for the soul. See you next time on The Bones Collector. Bye-bye.